Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Casler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. Today's question comes from N8WJD Dustin, and he is got his general class license, and he is looking for advice on his first HF station. Now, I have a reference station that I've set up on dcasler.com/reference. And what this gives you is a specific recommendation for everything you'll need for your station, from the coax cable to the power supply and the radio and everything. It's built around the ICOM 7300 and still is. Now, back when you originally wrote your question, which was a while ago, sorry, I've got a pile of them here trying to get caught up. Let me talk about what a reference design means. A reference design is something you can refer to. It'll show you the parts and what some recommendations are. If you were to build a reference station, I think you would have a very nice station on the air. Now, the reference station is currently built with an MFJ antenna, and with them going off the air permanently here, I'm going to need to pick another one for that. It will probably be the ARRL end-fed half-wave for 40 through 10. Okay. Now, that'll actually give you more bands. There are other radios to choose from these days. The competitor for the ICOM 7300 for a long time was the Yaesu FT991B, which is a good radio. Be sure you get the B option, or A, or whatever, not the original. The others have better waterfall diagrams, these do. There are two new transceivers from Yaesu that are creating quite a bit of a stir. It's the FTDX10, and the other one is the FT710. They're slightly different radios with slightly different things, but each will do what the other can do, and the FTDX is more expensive than the other one. You could use either one of those radios. Now, I will tell you that whenever I do a video that involves the radio, I'm going to use an ICOM 7300, so you can take a look at it. Now, I'm constantly experimenting with different antennas, so that will be something that you could look for too. But right out of the bat, if somebody asks me what radio should I buy, I say the 710. He says, as far as goals go, I would like to do some DXing, because why not? Well, yes, you can do that, and it is readily done with any of these radios. Would like to play with digital modes and SSTV. All of these radios have built-in sound cards. You have a single cable that goes between your computer and the radio, and it's just a standard USB cable. Most of them are USB-A on one end, USB-B on the other end, and the B is the same as the cable that HP printers use, so they're readily available. I would like to learn CW. Yes, all radios do that. All of the radios I mentioned have some pretty good filters for doing CW. I am not sure what bands I would like to operate. Now, this is a indicator to me that you haven't done a lot of time on HF. After you do HF, you'll find that each band has its own characteristics and personality, times it's open, and so on. 160 meters is hard because of the antenna issue. 80 meters is hard because of the antenna issue. They're big antennas. 40 meters is doable. A dipole for that's only 66 feet. And where you're going to want to operate most as a new ham is 40 meters and 20 meters. And you're going to want to try out, because the sunspots are at their peak right now, you're going to want to try out 10 meters, 6 meters, things like that. All of which you can do with that ARRL antenna that I mentioned. I want to talk to you about perseverance. you get a new radio, it's like stepping into the cockpit of a 747. There are 5 million buttons, knobs, everything. And you have to do everything in the right order so you can take off and then land. And if you have one of those knobs set the wrong way, you won't get anything at all. And I remember last field day I went up to the GOTA station. They were having no luck at all getting out. So I looked at the way the radio was set up, made some tweaks in, microphone gain and compression and stuff like that. Picked up the microphone, put out a call, got a response immediately. So this is going to require some perseverance on your part to learn how this thing works. Now, the 7300 comes with a pre-printed short manual, okay, which basically introduces you to the radio. On the disc that comes with it is this. This is the full manual. Now, I printed this in color, and I took it down to Office Depot and had them bind it coil bound, and had them put a piece of plastic on the front just so I could read what was underneath. And I never paid much attention to the cost. The binding was a few dollars, but I looked, somebody ran the numbers for this and said, this can cost you like $80 to print. If you take a memory stick down to Office Depot and have that printed, it can be like $80 to get the thing printed in color, two-sided, and bound. I don't know, I've referred to this innumerable times. It does have a complete listing of what everything does, has a somewhat reasonable index. As the read-only memory updates have come out, I've attached the pages for those in the back so that I'll have it. I think a lot of the radios do that this way. They don't come with comprehensive manuals anymore. I have an old Yaesu FT101B, and the manual for it is a real skinny thing. And the reason it's a real skinny thing is because the radio didn't do much except transmit, receive. It had very few filters on it. You couldn't dial the bandwidth in. There were no brick wall filters. There's no CW keyer. There's no memory. There's whatever, okay? And you can't punch in a memory and go to it. It doesn't cover the non-ham bands. It's not general coverage. So that one had a thin manual. But what has happened is that these radios have accumulated features, some of which are extremely handy. And it tells you here how to use them, how to do them. The one question here that you said about bands, 20 during the day, 40 goes into the evening, and so does 20. So there you go. So, Dustin, I hope this helps you or helps somebody else who's in another situation. And I'm kind of curious what you did choose and how you like it. So, there you go. If you are watching this far, please subscribe. You're the kind of person that should be a subscriber. And if you're a subscriber, you're an Augie. O-G-G-I-E. Now, I will warn you that an Augie is also a Cornish pastry, but that's okay. We won't worry about that. So, there you go. Join the herd. Until we next meet, 73.